it's Christmas Eve, guys. If you celebrate that sort of thing, happy Christmas Eve. It's also day 24 of Vlogmas. Yeah, we'll probably still go carry on with some videos for the end of December just because some of my boxes, like my Indie Untangled, have more than 25 days of goodies inside. So we'll keep going probably at the same rate we are right now because quite frankly, we're not doing a daily upload, but that's okay. I actually have days 21 through 23 uploading on my computer now. So that should be done whenever it feels like being done because quite frankly, it doesn't move very fast, but that's okay. It is absolutely freezing right now. I don't know what the temperature is outside. I don't think it's supposed to be that bad, but it is super cold inside my house. I need to actually go check the oil in my oil tank before I turn on my heat, and I just haven't gone to go do that yet because I don't want to. But I've got to do that eventually. But today is Christmas Eve, and I totally messed up. I'll tell you why in a second, but let's look at projects because that leads into my mess up. So yesterday I told you that I was working on my Advent knitting and I was starting day 9. I managed to get a fair amount done. No, this is the front. There we go. So that's how much I got done. Very happy with that transition. Now, I think that I probably could have transitioned 2 rows earlier to the new color. But I think if I hadn't done those extra 2 rows of this color, then I think that wouldn't have been enough of day 8. So I don't know. I'm happy with the way it came out. I don't know when I'm going to transition to the next color. I'm getting close to where it looks like the pattern changes again. There's 4 rows that go back to the bobble stitch, and I'm not going to do the bobble because those bobbles were hideous. So we'll just leave those out probably. But then it switches patterns after the 2 or 4 rows of bobble stitches. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going to switch over. I have this much left of 9. So 2 more rows or 4 more rows seems logical, maybe 2 more rows. But I really need to sit down and just map out the rest of the shawl just to make sure the color changes are in the right spot. So like I said, I'm on section 10 right now, color number 9, and I think I'll switch to color number 10 in section 10. But there's only 18 sections, so it doesn't line up color-wise. But that's what I got done. So progress is still being made on this. Very excited about that. Set that to the side. And then like I told you last night, I finished up the hat except just for closing the top. But that meant that I was bored, so I started a new hat. And I had them on my size 13 doubled pointeds. But then this morning, I realized that I needed my size 13 double pointeds for that last leg warmer that I need to work on. And so I put it on my circular needle, right, with the size 13 tips. And then I realized that today is Christmas Eve, which means Christmas Eve cast on, which meant that I needed my size 13 tips for my Christmas Eve cast on. So I just stuck the size 15s back on just to keep everything from sliding off. But then I remembered, this is a very long process, that I wanted to start my Christmas Eve cast on the smaller circular needle because the pattern calls for, I think, a 24-inch cord or a 24-inch circular needle. Oh, I've got fuzzies on me. But my other choice was I have the 22-inch cord, but then with the needles, the needle tips, it puts it longer than 24. So I'm hoping I can cast on the right number of stitches and get through the first few rows where there are some increases to get it to be more comfortable. So we're going to try it and we're going to see what happens and we'll hope that it works. If not, we can put the hat on waste yarn or scrap it and start over later because I didn't get that far. It's only a few rows in. So Christmas Eve cast on, I don't want to talk about yet. Let's do Advents and then we'll talk about Christmas Eve cast on because I think that's going to be a longer process. So we are down to having 1, 2, 3, 4 Advents instead of 5 because Magpie was finished on the 21st. So let's go ahead and do our last 2 days of minis for all of our boxes. So Naughty Pine Day 23. And I hope it goes out on a bang. That's pretty, I mean, it's a pretty color. Right? It's like this kind of a Still getting into that gray, still has a little bit of a brown tint to it. Very kind of foresty, I feel like, earthy. And then day 24, the last day, is again kind of a neutral. And so those are what those look like next to each other. And so it'll be interesting. Where's my, when you wear, oh, I lost my ball of yarn. When you wear it, obviously you'll kind of like flip it around, and so these ends will be next to each other. And so that's kind of like the beginning and the ending palette. So that'll be interesting to see what it looks like as a final project. Hang on a second, I have to retrieve my ball of yarn. And we're back. Okay, so let's go ahead and put these back in the envelopes. Day 23 and day 24. I've put everything in the boxes where they're supposed to go, except for the last 4 days. So I need to finish doing that. But whew, okay. Now we're down to our last 2 minis of Fiber Fox. So day 23. I just like ripped open the package. It's okay. So again, kind of that gray color. And then day 24. Like this. Cannot mix them up. Day 23, day 24. And that's what they look like next to each other. So let's, again, go ahead and put these. I said this was 23, right? I think this was 23. We'll go ahead and put these back on the ring so we can see all of the minis together at one time. And I took off the wrong side. It's okay. We've got this. Okay. And I'll put up in here the mood boards because they had a series of, I think, 5 mood boards of colors and then like 1 overall mood board. And I want to see what you guys think in terms of adherence to the theme. So overall, it is a really pretty, like ombre sort of, not ombre because it changes colors, but like gradient, I guess you would call it. And so that's what it looks like all, oh good, how did I even get that on there like that? I'm gonna have to play around with that because I did something funky. Oh my gosh, there we go. Maybe I just pulled it. So that's what it looks like overall. And like I said, I'll pop up those mood boards if I haven't already so you can see. And then this was the skein they sent me that they felt went with everything, which overall, yeah, I could see that as the border. And then maybe like a dark pop of color as that bind off if I do the grad event. So that's what we have there for this box. And that is all finished. Oh, I did say that Naughty Pine still has a full skein that we haven't seen yet for tomorrow, but obviously this one wasn't wrapped because it's not technically part of the advent. I just ordered that separately. And then our Heritage Wool box, we've got 2 more days of minis. So these are, again, Birch Hollow, and this one is called Hellbores. I don't know if you pronounced the S on the end or not, which looks like it's going to be another pretty kind of pinky purple color if I can get in here. It's a little bit of a brighter pink today. And then 24 is Glacier Blue. Mint. Ooh, that's interesting. So it's very close to that pine, what was it, Pine Burrow? But it adds in more of the blue to give it more of a teal look. So those are those 2 next to each other, and that completes our advent. So let's, well, kind of, sort of, hang on. Let me go ahead and put these on. I forgot which way it went. There we go. So purple pinky one first, and then our final teal. There. It's not on there quite right, but it'll work. It's not going anywhere. And so I want to dig into this box to tell you, because I think that there's a 100 gram skein for tomorrow. So this is kind of our overall color. It's not laying quite in order just because of how many skeins there are. But that is kind of the overall look. Again, the shawl pattern, and I'll put up a picture again. It's still in black and white, but it is the something pasture. I've already forgotten. I'll put up the name in the picture though, as the plan for this. And then there's also, what was I gonna say? Yeah, my brain just stops, guys. So I totally had a thought that I was leaning into, and it's, oh, I remember what it is now. I got you. There was a mood board for this one as well that I think I have. And if I have the mood board, I'll go ahead and I'll stick it up. And again, you guys can kind of judge how well it matches the mood board. And looking at my box, it does look like we've got a full skein for the 25th day. And then this actually goes through the 31st. Of all kinds of things that are clearly not yarn. So very excited to keep digging into that box. And then our Hue Loco. These are our last two minis, which day 23 is Gallnut. And it's a pretty gray that kind of tends toward the purple side. So that's super pretty. And then day 24 is going to be Eucalyptus. And let's see how we're ending it off. And that's pretty. It's still keeping in that same kind of gray area, but it has a little bit more variation in it. Super pretty. Loving this. Loving this box. And then again, it has a day 25. Well, it doesn't say 25, but I figured the other ones had a full skein. I'd wait until the end to open it as well, but it also has a full skein. And I just messed up all the boxes inside of the box, but that's okay. Loving the Hue Loco. Okay, so I don't know if this video will go up in time depending on how well I have my life together, but Hue Loco is doing a Christmas extravaganza sale, which apparently this is like their year number 6 that they've done it. I have not seen it before, so kind of excited, but they have a bunch of things that are gonna go on their website tomorrow at noon Mountain Standard Time. So if you're in Eastern Standard like I am, it's 2 o'clock. I'm pretty sure I've got an alert set on my phone. I already have my shopping list ready to go. So very excited about that sale. Not that I need more yarn, but I've got some ideas for things going into the new year, and I wouldn't mind a few surprise skeins. So let's get back to our Christmas Eve cast on, because I knew it, but like I totally blinked that today was Christmas Eve, and that meant new cast on. So yay, yay. If you remember, I got this kit from Madelinetosh. Last time I checked, they still had some up on their website, and you could even get some of their colorways as single skeins instead of as part of a kit. And there was one that I really liked, but the colors look basic enough that I think I can dye my own. We'll see. But the project that came with the one that I picked out, they also had a sock kit. But I got the Naughty Nice Cowl kit. This is the colorway I chose. It's called, I've already forgotten what it's called, Fugly Sweater. And it's 2 skeins. It looks super simple. It's two skeins of their Madelinetosh ASAP, which is their super bulky weight, 100% superwash merino wool, 90 yards per skein. And then this is going to be on the size 13 needles, which is a 9mm, and a 24-inch circular needle. Again, I've got to figure out if I can cast on loosely enough that that longer needle will work. Fingers crossed. But if you need a reminder, this is what the yarn looks like. This is the bag it came in. To me, I'll have to cut that out if I flash the back of the pattern. I hope I didn't. It also came with a digital copy of this as well as the card version. But this will be nice to take with me to work tonight. These look like they have a heck of a lot more blue than what's in the pattern. Like the pattern overall has like a red cast to it. But this looks like it's going to come out with more like a blue cast. Of course, because everything's all skeined up, there might be more of that hidden inside. So I'm just curious to see how close the colorway matches what's actually on the card. So I'm going to go upstairs and cake these up so that way that they're all ready to cast on for work tonight. And then I think I'm going to go to the grocery store. Nothing's open on Christmas, and I have like no food in my house, so I'll go get like some more taquitos or something. And then maybe I'm even thinking, oh my goodness, my voice. Even thinking about going to Chick-fil-A and just getting some like extra nuggets and putting them in the fridge and then making Chick-fil-A nuggets on Christmas. We'll see, but we're gonna go upstairs and wine these first and see what they look like. All right, so I know I left shopping until late, but this is the milk selection at Walmart. All they have is fat-free milk. This is ridiculous. All right, so it is almost 3:30. It's almost 3:30, and I've got like 5 minutes to feed and water the sheep because I've got to make it back to my office by 4 o'clock because I'm meeting someone. Oh, woohoo! Almost lost the bucket of feed. I didn't put the bag of feed in my car. I just grabbed a bucket load of it and it like tipped up against the door. Almost lost it, but we got it. We're good. We're good. And then I also, oh my gosh, we're a mess. Got lettuce. And so I wish I had like inspected it better in the store rather than just grabbing it because it's a little soft, squishy. So I don't know how much the sheep are going to like it, but we'll see. All right, let's go get these guys fed, watered, and happy. It didn't record. You didn't get to see them eating the lettuce. Bianca likes the crunchy bits. She likes all the bits. Oh my gosh, killing me. Killing me. You pretty girl. Oh gosh, okay. So I'm an idiot. I got my site all set up and realized I don't have a lighter. I can't light any candles. So I had to grab a lantern, lock up the site, and now I gotta go find fire. It's fine. We're doing great. Our first tour of the evening is over. Gotta wait for the second one. And so I came back in the house because I am so stinking cold right now. But I've got some candlelight to do my knitting. By the way, when I was lighting the candles earlier, the only reason why I was doing it that way and moving a lit candle between the unlit ones was A, the candles were being a pain in the tuchus tonight and I could not get things to light. But also I've got somewhere between 2 and 4 layers of wool. I can't remember how I folded the cloth, but 2 to 4 layers of wool and a layer of leather between the candle wax and the table underneath. So normally you wouldn't want to do that, but this is how much I've gotten done on my Naughty Nice Cowl so far. I totally didn't bring all of my stuff with me. I just grabbed the bag. And so I had to use the Fugly Sweater tag as my stitch marker because I didn't have any other stitch markers for beginning of round. And I knit over the end, and so that wasn't gonna tell me where I started either. I did end up, because when I wound up the yarn, let's see if I can pull one out. See, it's looking a little more Fugly Sweater-ish. Hoping it's not coming out too blue because that's not my favorite, but that's okay. One of these, I can't remember which one, had a fairly large section of white that had hardly any speckles on it, which totally happens with hand dyed and is not going to make any sort of difference. That's totally fine. I know from, dyeing things myself, but I didn't want to have that pool, and I didn't want it to like obviously pool on the top or the bottom. So what I'm doing is I'm alternating skeins. So both of them are attached right now, and I'm just doing 1 row, switch, 1 row, and going around like that. So yeah, that's what we have so far. So I gotta figure it out. One of these is like all tangled and I have no idea what's going on. So I gotta figure that out, and we'll see if we can get a few more rows in before next tour comes. So I just finished. We locked up, we're all done, everyone's headed home. Look how pretty it is out here in town. I'm gonna go to my office because I have a half a sandwich from Firehouse Subs in the refrigerator, and I think I'm gonna have that as a snack for dinner tonight. So let me go grab my sandwich and then we'll head home and keep working on our Christmas Eve cast on.